This is Mr. Elmhorst with the help video for the mastery practice. We're going to be calculating simple interest. So from the lesson, we focused on three things. We focused on the principal balance, the money that we're putting into the account, the rate of interest, which is going to be given in percent form, and then how much time, how long is the money in the account for. So the initial amount that is put into the account is 13,700, and then the interest rate in decimal form is 5% for this particular account that is earning at 5% per year for 2 years. So we change that to a decimal. 5% divided by 100 is going to be 500ths. So that is our given rate. And then it's for 2 years for the amount of time. So the interest formula that we're going to use is if we take the principal, multiply it by the rate, and multiply it by the time, that will give us the earned interest. So filling that formula out, we have 13,700 times 0.05 times 2. And you can multiply these in any order. I would encourage you to multiply the rate times the time first, and then multiply that times the amount. So 0.05 times 2 is going to give us 2/10 or 1/10. We have 1, 2 decimals, 1, 2 decimal place values. Now we multiply that 0.10 times 13,700. So we have 13,700 times 0.1. Well, 1 times all of this is going to be 13700. There's 1 decimal place value, so we move it over 1 spot. So what is the interest that is earned after 2 years? The interest earned is going to be $1,370. So look at example number 2. Example number 2 is focused on what is the beginning balance, the principal. So it's going to be 9,800. And what is the interest? It's 8%. But in order to use this rate, we are going to change it back to a decimal. 8 out of 100 is equal to 800ths, which is equal to 0.08. And the amount of time is 6 years. Got 98 times the rate times the time. So we can multiply this one here. That's going to give us 0.48. 6 times 8 is 48. And then there's 1, 2 decimal place values, 1, 2. Now we multiply that out. 8 times 0, 8 times 0, 8 times 8. And then 8 times 9, which is 72, plus 6. So we should have 78. When we're done multiplying that spot, we're going to cross it out down below. And then we focus on the 4. 4 times 0, 4 times 0, 4 times 8 is 32. And then 4 times 9 is 36 plus 3. So I believe that's 39. So we're done multiplying that. Now we have a 0, so we add up our 2 lines down below. Do not forget your decimal place value. There was 1, 2 up above. 1, 2 decimal place values. So then we go down here, we move it over 1, 2. And so we end up with an earned interest. The interest after 6 years is going to be $4,704. We have a principal amount that was borrowed, $5,425. We have an interest rate of 13%, and it's for 5 years. Now, principal times the rate times the time, principal times the rate times the time. So we can multiply the first part of this times 5. And then move your decimal place value over, 1, 2. So after multiplying 13 hundredths times 5, now we're going to multiply that by 5,425. Starting with the 5, multiplying. 5 times 5 is 25. We're going to carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Carry the 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. And 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is going to be 27. So if we multiplied everything correctly, should be good there. So I'm just going to remove that from the first digit. When we're done multiplying that spot, we're going to cross it out down below. Now we're multiplying the 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Carry the 2. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. 5. Now we're going to add up these two rows down below. 5 plus nothing is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 6. 7 plus 5 is going to give us 12. Carry the 1. And do not forget your decimal place values above, 1, 2. We had 1, 2 decimal place values. We're going to move it over 1, 2. So I believe we should have 3,526 26 and 25 cents. So I'm going to double check that real quick. Okay, those numbers look good. All right, that's problem number 3. Go to the last one. We're still focusing on this process. First, what is the principal amount that went into the account? What is the rate? And then change that to a decimal. So we have 8.5 out of 100, or 85 out of 1,000. So we move the decimal 1, 2 places to the left. So we're going to end up with 0.085, and that is over 5 years. So we have 4,500 times 0.085 times 5. Now, you can multiply that any way you want. I am actually looking at this thinking maybe it's a little easier if I multiply 5 times 4,500 and then multiply it by 85 hundredths. And give a 0, 0, 5, carry the 2. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, so that's going to be 22. And then we're going to multiply that times 0.85. 0.085. 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And then 5 times 2 is 10 plus, we have 11. We're done multiplying here. Now we have 8 times 0, 8 times 0, 8 times 5 is 40. So plus 4 over the next digit. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 0, 0, 5, 2, 1, 9, 1. Do not forget your decimal place values. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and then I'm going to double check my numbers real quick. And it looks like the numbers are good. 1,912 and 50 cents. It's money, so we're going to focus on dollars and cents. That's 2 decimal place values.